What's up, my obsessive little orchids? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today, on the not-so-daily grind, but still frequent enough to produce a little bit of friction, we're going to be talking about the potential Warframe/ability combos that I am most excited for in the upcoming Helminth, what is it called? Helminth Chrysalis system. Okay, listen, I've stumbled over the intro way too many times, so we're just gonna go ahead and run with that. Now, as many of you guys know, when something really excites me, I kind of latch onto the subject, and as of late, there hasn't really been much in Warframe that I've been like drooling over. However, this new upcoming system has really got me absolutely juicy in all the right areas. Now, if you guys missed out on the previous talks where I kind of brainstormed the Warframe abilities that are most likely going to be on the list for the Helminth Chrysalis system, I will go ahead and leave that linked up there. And if you don't know what the Helminth Chrysalis system is, that video should have a quick explanation for you guys too. Now, before we jump into any of this, I do want to give you guys a little bit of an update. First and foremost, I do want to remind you guys that the Helminth Chrysalis itself is going to provide its own unique abilities. So who knows, once we see like all of the top tier versions that that thing has to offer, we might say, well, we don't really need to pull from other Warframes because the Chrysalis itself has so many good things in it. And in addition to that, DE did go out and make a statement saying that they're going to be going through the list of abilities that they've chosen and kind of spruce them up a bit so that they do feel a little bit more desirable, because as we were going through the list of Warframe abilities, there were definitely some that were just, how do we say it? Just so terrible that even though they existed, you would probably never reach for them under any circumstance anyway. So I'm glad that they are going through and rebalancing all of those. However, in my brain, I think that that is such a task because I think it's like 40 plus Warframes that they need to get done before, I believe they said that they were going to release the list in the middle of next week or something along those lines. So part of me is like, ooh, you guys got to get to work on that real fast. We do have a couple new spoilers. As you guys know, they showed off Volt's Shock, they showed Mag's Pull, we did see that Ice, what is it called? The Ice Wave from Frost was there. We did hear that it is confirmed that Zephyr's Airburst is going to be one. However, they're going to be adding like a suction version to it, very similar to Dive Bomb Vortex, if you guys played way back in the day where she had that augment that would just suck enemies in when you dive bomb down. So I'm assuming that's going to be a very similar functionality to the whole airburst thing. There were certain like leaked images saying that it's potentially going to be Wukong's Celestial Twin that is going to be available from him. However, I feel like that's a pretty big thing to put out there, so I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be, you know, like locked down, because it was a leak and it was not necessarily, or a leaked image, and it was not 100% confirmed by DE themselves. So part of me is like, let's wait on that one. However, like, I know we're still at the introduction part, but this is how like excited I'm getting over it. Can you just see like Atlas with his own freaking Wukong Celestial Twin? Like, come on, Atlas, who can make more rumblers. So now you got your rumblers, you've got Atlas, and you've got the other rumblers that he's got, and y'all are just sliding all over the place. That's gotta be fun, and just all these rocks being thrown around. That's just a good time. Or Miss Hildryn just havening herself and herself. Putting that out there. Come on, that's some good shit. So if we do have Wukong Celestial Twin, those are definitely big options for me. So I actually did go ahead and go through and I picked 5 Warframes that really kind of like piqued my interest to go and upgrade. The first one is a little bit memey. However, I believe he deserves like a little bit of a second chance. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Hydroid himself. Because like in my brain, Hydroid, I mean, Tempest Barrage is good because of the fact that you can use Corrosive Barrage on it, right? Tidal Surge has just never been anything that I've been super interested in. You just basically get a wave and you knock enemies down with you. Like, even its augment is kind of underwhelming. Undertow, now, this is one of those ones that was really gimmicky to begin with, but after they went ahead and like retooled everything, it became a really juicy ability, and I actually really super enjoy it. And then Tentacle Swarm is just, you know, him unleashing all these tentacles all over the place. He's got to be, you know, hentai king for a reason. Now, I'm getting rid of Tidal Surge 100% when it comes to Hydroid. I don't need that in my life, but I figured I would allow him to continue to be a meme because, as you know, when water evaporates, it becomes a cloud, right? So if we're not getting Celestial Twin from Wukong, I say why not go ahead and grab Cloudwalker, because now I can get rid of Tidal Surge. I'd still have the movement capabilities of him. I'd be able to like move in weird ways, and now I would just be like a cloud of evaporated water. It's still Hydroid, and basically think about it, it's like the whole water cycle to begin with. You can become a puddle and then evaporate into a cloud, then go back down into a puddle, right? It just works. Plus, it actually does synergize pretty well, because if he ever needs to heal himself, he can heal himself through Undertow, but I can completely scrap that augment and then go ahead and just use Cloudwalker Plus. That'll open up enemies to finishers. I believe it still has that little stunning capability to it. So there's a lot of actual melee synergy because he's really evasive. Whether he goes down into the ground, comes back up, and all of the enemies are knocked down, you can perform ground finishers, or you can come in from the air and you can perform melee finishers when you come down from there. So it just makes him very melee friendly and also a little bit more evasive to boost up his survivability. It's a meme, but it's a meme that I think works. The other one that I actually wanted to go ahead and lean into as well, is because I feel like his build can kind of fit it, is Sleight of Hand from Mirage. You know, I'm like going into this whole pirate theme now where he's like sabotaged all of the loot. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm just gonna make everything explode, enemies are gonna be CC'd, and I feel like just his standard build has a decent amount of power strength on it and also has a good amount of range, so I feel like that can kind of just fit in naturally. And you know, he's a pirate, so it's like, why not go ahead and embrace the whole saboteur portion of being a pirate, right? Now, moving on, the next one, because I already mentioned her, so we might as well just go ahead and jump in to Miss Hildryn. If I could find her, there you are. Now, y'all know, I have not been fond of Balefire. There's some people out there that absolutely love Balefire, and we can go in and out all day arguing about whether you like Balefire or whether it has merits or not. Me personally, I don't feel like it kills fast enough for me, and there's gonna be people out there saying, well, it does millions of points of damage for me. I'm like, great, you're using it on infested or lower level targets. I don't know, I'm just not as impressed with it as some of you guys are. Let me live my life. You know, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, okay? So, Balefire, go bye-bye, is what's in my notes right now. But think about it. I could go ahead and also just toss down a shit ton of Proteus grenades. Like, that just synergizes really well. And then you also have the ability to, if it's an option, I need to stress, because we don't 100% know what abilities are gonna be given to us. But I'm just saying, if Proteus grenades are an option, now we have this shield supercharger off of Protea, right? So it synergizes with Hildryn, and offensively it gives Hildryn a big boost because she could just go ahead, toss down all these grenades, and because of the fact that her energy runs off of her shields, technically the shielding grenades are going to be supercharging her energy. You see what I'm saying? You see the synergy that's going on over here? I didn't just say it because I wanted Proteus grenades all over the place. I said it because they work hand in hand, all in one ability. Next one that I actually wanted to go ahead and put out there is Hildryn actually does really well. At least I've had a lot of fun with her as a melee queen. And I think that what would work really, really well with the rest of her kit and her ability is Desolate Hands from Baruch. So if that's one that we actually get from Baruch, number one, now she can go ahead and disarm enemies, right? So that way they have to come and melee her, which forces them into Haven range, which also allows her to pilfer a little bit quicker off of them. And then she's basically able to keep any damage reduction from enemies that are super duper far away. So there's like multiple different aspects to it that I really, really like. And also, you know, she gets like little things rotating her, which kind of look cool with her whole outfit. Next one, I wanted to add this in Oh, wait, why is this here? Oh, no. Sorry, wrong ability. I'm thinking that in my head. Okay. I also wanted to toss this down because I thought that this might be thematically cool with Hildryn, is Firewalker from Nizaha, because that has been confirmed, which means that what she can do is she can go ahead and CC enemies by running around, and I almost just picture her because of the fact that she's got her, like, vent jets. She's got her fire feet, but she can, like, dash forward with her vent jets, and it's like she's, like, letting out a stream of fire behind her like she's a fucking hot rod or some shit like that. You know, I'm just getting all of my Back to the Future vibes out. But basically, what happens is because of the fact that she can strip enemy armor and strip enemy shields, right? She can go ahead and go in with a Pyroclastic Flow. Pyroclastic Flow, as you guys know, is that one augment from Ninja, which basically accumulates all of the damage that it's done, and then it releases it in a big strip. So what she can do is she can place that strip down, strip enemy shields and armor, right? And then boom, they just start getting hit by the insane amounts of damage that you can get from Pyroclastic Flow. So for me, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of go in with Hildryn that have got me all kinds of excited. Now let's go ahead and move on to someone I don't particularly like on a regular basis, but I'm gonna let you know right now. Mr. Chroma, with all of the potential in the world, once we knock out Spectral Scream, because in my head I'm like, no thank you, I'm not interested in Spectral Scream. He has a pretty good kit with Elemental Ward, Vex Armor, very, very strong. Effigy is what Effigy does. Just let it be, okay? Just let Effigy be. But if we potentially could get Penance from, oh my god, Harrow, as you guys know, I really have been juiced about that potential, like, release. Like, my mouth is watering thinking about the fact that I could potentially turn Chroma into, like an offensive Paladin, right? So he's got all of his different armor, he's got his elementalness, and then he's gonna go in with Penance. For those of you guys who don't remember what Penance is, it's the thing where Harrow smashes all of his shields off of him. That then is converted into the duration for Penance, and then you get boosted reload speed, fire rate, and you heal and I believe is it affinity range? It might be affinity range, it might be less than that, something along those lines. You heal yourself as well as all allies with the damage that you end up doing. So of course you combine that with the offensive output that Vex Armor gives you, and because of the fact that you literally just stripped your armor, you get that boost a little bit quicker. I mean, you do have to use it kind of like strategically, you know, when you want to do your shit, but I'm just saying that could potentially be a really strong combo, making him very offensive, but also very defensive at the same time. Like, I'm just saying, like a gunslinging Paladin, I am kind of into that. The next one that I actually wanted to put out there, because I'm so sold on the whole Penance thing, but I was taking a look at Revenant's skills, where I was thinking that Reeve might actually be a really, really good thing to keep Chroma in the game. Because one of the things that Chroma, I mean, I'm not saying that he lacks survivability in any way, shape, or form, but you do, at least with the, like, brainless builds that I like thinking about, you really kind of go on autopilot when it comes to restoring his health, right? But if you could have an active way of restoring health, then I say why not? Plus it gives you a little bit of invulnerability, so while you're in your Reeve state, you can go ahead and go through a whole bunch of enemies, get your shields, and get your health back. And because of the fact that he's already so fucking tanky, it's just kind of like, you know, to top yourself off just in case. Now, me personally, I have used the Hema before with him, and that just makes everything kind of crazy, because the Hema is already like a hard hitter combined with Vex Armor, and then you get headshots to heal yourself with that. You could definitely do it that way, but this way you have an ability where you could just hit one button and boom, you've gone and restored your health and shields. The next thing that I actually wanted to go ahead and bring up is Pillage. If we end up getting Pillage from Hildryn, as you guys know, it's the wave that she sends out that steals enemy health and shields and brings back, you know, some of your shields. Number one, it's great for removing status effects. So if you have anything that's really irritating you, you could go ahead and use that just to kind of cleanse yourself. But also, you know, you've got your offensive, and that's the thing that I think people forget about a lot is, yes, Chroma gets a whole lot of offense, but you know how you can add to the offense by debuffing enemies. So now your enemies are weaker, your attacks are stronger, and you're able to restore your shields. That's pretty damn good. And also cleanse yourself of status effects. Like, that's kind of sickening. So for me personally, I'm really excited for the different potential things that Chroma can do by just getting rid of Spectral Scream. All right, this next one. There's only one ability. You know how I've done multiple abilities for all of these? And I've kind of like gone through the list. I found one ability and I was like, yo, if they give me that, it's insta-give. That's exactly what I'm putting on there. So Valkyr. Valkyr has been very contested. I know that she has a little bit of trouble in places, and you know, like, she definitely needs a little bit of a revamp. Hysteria needs a little bit more love. Her kit is okay, but it could be better. But can we just say this real quick, just real quick. So you know how Hysteria has built-in lifesteal, right? But you know one of the big issues with Hysteria is the fact that, you know, its energy consumption slowly ramps up, right? But what if Miss Garuda gave up bloodletting? Right? Are you shitting yourself? Garuda's bloodletting during Hysteria? So you just invincible, and then you're like, shrink, cut myself just a little bit, get some energy back. I mean, listen, it's just gonna remove it directly from your health pool. I don't think it actually physically does the damage to you. But if you could just restore your energy like that, hit a couple more enemies, lifesteal, shrink, do another bit of bloodletting, yo, you just have eternal Hysteria. I mean, like, I don't know if that's what they're gonna let us do with this, but I'm just looking at this and I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. This is kind of a good idea. Just blood left, right, and center. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing on my list with Valkyr. Might throw out paralysis. I do like the finisher ability on paralysis though, so it might be a rip line that goes, who knows? All I can think of in my head is bloodletting, if it works the way that I stated, would be absolutely amazing on Miss Valkyr. All right, moving on to the next one, because this guy's kit, just, I think his kit makes a lot of people angry, and when he recently got primed and DE said that they weren't gonna do nothing to him, everybody was like, you're kidding us, right? Don't judge me for not forming him. The whole words are gone out of my mouth, so we're just gonna skip that sentence. Anyway, y'all know I can't stand Devour, but I can't stand Sandstorm even more. You guys know how pained I am with Sandstorm, and I'm sure there's gonna be people that are like, I love Sandstorm. Sandstorms are fantastic. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, calm down. But so many things that you could toss onto him. I was thinking in my head, first and foremost, if, you know, Mr. Baruch wants to give it up and toss out some Desolate Hands, number one, straight out of the gate, and this is something that I didn't mention on Hildryn, which I should have. Desolate Hands, I believe, is a damage reduction, not an armor increase, if I remember it correctly off of the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's a damage reduction. So you get the damage reduction, then you get the, then of course you have your armor underneath it as well. So it's just a lot of damage reduction. And, you know, do we just want to make Inaros even more unkillable? Sure, why freaking not, right? But also at the same time, I think that a lot of people do play Inaros as melee. So you can go ahead and disarm enemies, you know, and then go ahead and get them into melee range, recast, have more shields, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So basically, it just kind of makes him even better at what he does, even more survivable than before, and really good at, you know, kind of taking out enemies from, you know, some of the bigger threats out there carrying the different kinds of weapons. So this way, it gives him the upper hand, right? The next thing that I want to put out there, and I think that this is kind of cool, and it's kind of thematic at the same time, because Inaros is, you know, the sand god. He's like out in the deserts, and I mean, aside from bugs and sand, what's in the desert? Desert heat, right? So why not use Fire Blast, right? Why not have that for armor strip? And you can use the augment healing flame at the same time. So you're stripping enemies of their armor. You're also getting some health back, which Inaros just loves getting all his health back in all different ways, shapes, and forms. So it's basically, you know, putting your enemies in a weaker spot than you. And I think that that's pretty goddamn cool. And then last but not least, definitely not least, I want to see how this goes. If Equinox gives up her, oh my god, was it the tranquility? It's the buff. It's the one that's the buff. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking about it specifically for the augment peaceful provocation, right? Tell me, Inaros with no shields, always getting hit directly to his health, right? Every time he takes health damage, he's gonna increase the peaceful provocation, which makes enemies slower and deal less damage to you the closer they get. I just feel like it's a beautiful thing, right? It's just a beautiful thing, peaceful provocation. I'd be down for it. And some people are like curious as to how it would actually work, and I've stated that it will most likely work off of your energy color, very similar to how Equinox, when they first appear in a mission, if your energy is a lighter color, they come out as day. If it's a darker color, they come out as night. So that's just what I'm putting down there, and I think that that would be absolutely cool for Mr. Inaros, right? So let's go ahead and finish off with somebody. You guys know, y'all know I was gonna finish with Loki, right? That's just where we end things. So I've been having a little bit of trouble because I don't really know where I want to go with Loki. I really don't. I'm like, do I ditch decoy? Do I ditch switch teleport? Which one do I not like more? Probably decoy goes bye-bye. But I've been thinking about things like, of course, Cloudwalker from another trickster frame, right? Because just in case you need to get your health back in some way, shape, or form, you could go ahead and use Cloudwalker. And if I was ditching decoy, this would help me get through some spy missions without having to do weird tricks, right? Because Lord, I love him, but to do some of his tricks for spies, you do need to lay down a decoy and switch teleport with it. So if you just had Cloudwalker, you could just kind of go through it. The other thing that I want to put out there, and I thought that this was kind of cool, was Breach Surge from Wisp. Another invisibility frame. It's just like they're all like one big family. So Breach Surge, as you guys know, is CC, and then of course they also get the ability to deal the extra Wisp procs, which goes around and hits other enemies based on the amount of damage you do. So that combined with his stealth melee, that's kind of juicy, right? And allows him to have a little bit more of damage output. Now, speaking of damage output, the other thing that I wanted to do was for another frame that's a little bit of a trickster, to try to maybe figure out a way that we could work in sleight of hand, because that would really encapsulate the whole trickster thing, even if it's just for CC purposes, because, you know, you could have multiple procs on an enemy and really run like a condition overload build, and then have all of those base procs already set up in addition to whatever elemental combos you want to go in with. So there's just a lot of different directions that you could go with Loki. I'm just not 100% sure where I want to go. I mean, we could also go in with, you know, Hildryn's pillage, if that's what they end up giving us, and, you know, whatever else comes with it. I'm just very, very curious to see what they do with the whole Helminth system. I want to see all of the tweaks that end up coming out. Let me know what abilities for these frames you guys are really interested in. Was there anything that I stated that piqued your interest? Or also let me know down in the comments below what you guys are excited to put on your Warframes. Like, just give me a roadmap, and maybe even I'll go ahead and take a look at them and be like, oh my god, this is such a great idea. I want to go ahead and talk about this on the next video. Let me know. Regardless, that is going to do it for me for now. Listen, I could talk about these different combinations forever and ever and ever, but I'm going to shut up. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and wash your goddamn hands, and also wear a mask. to cover up any complaints about wearing a mask. Listen, I don't love it, but I do it anyway. So I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!